Hey, welcome to Yoga with Christy. Every day I dedicate my practice to someone, and today's practice is dedicated to my friend Chris. Hey. Okay, so close your eyes. Please come to a comfortable seat. And just slowly listen to your inhales and exhales. So we're going to start really slowly today. I haven't done any movement, and if you haven't either, you're in the right place. And just start to deepen your inhales and your exhales. And what do I mean by that? I mean, just fill your lungs with air as much as you can comfortably without manipulating the breath too much, right? And I want you to think about your heart center. So take your right hand and place it on your heart center and place your left hand on top. And then as you're here, just noticing the rise and the fall of the chest on the inhales and the exhales. And the heart is the center of everything. Okay. We bring our heart to everything that we do, and every word that we speak, and every action that we make. We can live a thoughtful, passionate life. And dare I use the word mindfulness with mindfulness. And I'm actually not a real fan of a lot of the buzzwords around yoga, but I think that's a good one when we're focusing on our hearts and how we can bring heart to everything that we do. So in today's practice, I want you to mean it. Take one more breath here. And then exhale, release your hands back to your knees. Rotate the palms face up. And then on your next inhale, reach the arms high and overhead. And exhale your palms heart center. Inhale, reach them wide and high. And exhale, palms heart center. And do that one more time. Inhale, reach the arms wide and high. And then exhale your palms heart center. And then slowly start to flutter the eyes open. Bring your right hand to your left knee, left hand behind you. Press your knees down and away from each other. Lift your heart and twist to your left. So this isn't cranking on your neck. It's actually rotating the torso like an owl's head to your left. And make sure you're still breathing. Good. And then inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, bring your left hand to your right knee, right hand behind you. Same thing, I'm not cranking on my neck here. That's distracting. I'm rotating my torso like an owl's head. Good, and then come on back to center. And then we're just gonna walk our hands out in front of us. And if you can, I'm gonna turn to the side so y'all can see me. But as I'm here, I'm not lifting up through the hips. I'm actually grounding down through the hips. My elbows come to the floor. And it might be that you're just staying up here on your hands. Okay. Move this so you can actually see me. So when I do this, I'm gonna walk forward, and you might be able to bring your head to the floor. And then inhale, come on back up. Walk your hands behind you, release your feet in front of you. Okay, so I want you to point your fingertips towards your hips. And in this shape, the closer your hands are to the body, the easier this is. The farther away they get, the more stress on the wrists and the harder it is on the shoulders. I'm gonna split the difference and go somewhere in between today. And then I'm gonna gaze down at my toes, press down into my palms, and I'm gonna lift my heart. If you wish to look up, that might feel really nice. If it's too much on your neck and your throat, don't do it. But I want you to push the floor away and lift your heart. So you're broadening the collarbones, pressing your shoulders down and away from each other. And take a few deep inhales and exhales here. And then come on back up. Place your hands behind your knees. Float your feet. If you want to bring the feet together to touch, drop your shoulders down, and again, brighten around your heart center. And then maybe see if you can get your shins parallel with the floor. If you're feeling extra spunky today, maybe you lift your legs straight. And you can keep your grip behind your knees, or you can release your hands and look up. And breathe. Don't forget to breathe here. Okay, and then set your feet back down. Walk your hands back behind you. Maybe they come a little bit farther back. Lift your heart. Press down. Maybe gaze up. Or if that's too much on the neck, just gaze down between your big toes. I hear a lot of people say, I'm not flexible. I can't do yoga. That's not the point. The point is that you're doing something to open your heart, open your mind by releasing in the physical body. So if you're tight, maybe to make an exception for yourself, just go a little bit easier, maybe at like 50 to 70%, and then over time start to increase that. Generally, I don't really work at 100% anymore. And then bring your hands back behind your knees. Float the feet, same thing. So you're welcome to come straight into Navasana boat pose. But I want you to back off where you need to. So just listen to your body. And being inflexible is not a reason to not practice yoga. It actually means you should practice it more. Yoga can strengthen you, but it can also stretch out the muscles so you're lengthening as you strengthen. And I would say the same is true for our hearts, our emotional standpoint, our emotional approach to the world. And bring your feet back down one more round. Bring your hands behind you. Maybe they come a little farther back. But if you can approach your emotional life from a standpoint of being strong but flexible, you might find that you have more space in your heart for joy, love, kindness, who knows, maybe even a little fun. I think yoga should be fun. All right, come on back up. Hands behind the knees. This is our last round here, so you might just pause here. If you're here, be sure that your shoulders aren't hunching forward and you're not rounding in your back, okay? I want you to brighten your heart, drop your shoulders down behind you, maybe straighten out the legs, and maybe release your palms, gaze up. And who knows, you might even smile. Okay, and then from here, we're gonna lower Ardha Navasana. It's halfway down. And then come on back up. And you're welcome to bend your knees and grab behind your legs, okay? We're gonna do that 2 more times. I'm gonna lower back down, woo. Ardha Navasana, if you're shaking, good. Come on back up. There's a little balance trick when you come back up. Come on down. And then come on back up. Good, cross your ankles, bring your hands forward, and hop or step yourself back into downward facing dog. I'm gonna pull my hair back so I'm not in a cloud of fuzzy graying hair. So you're in down dog, press your shoulders wide and apart. So a lot of times people will say that they can't get the heels down because they're up here like this, right? Because they don't have the flexibility. What I want you to do is actually lift your heels. Do it. Just lift them up. Push the floor away. Get your hips a little bit higher. Maybe the head is between your biceps. And then slowly start to lower your heels. And as you do, I want you to fire up your quads and use your leg strength to balance out between your hands and your feet. Are you breathing? And I say that as much to remind myself as I say it for you. And then come on forward into your plank. So we're back with our core, but I want you to think about your heart center here. So press your shoulders away from each other, and I want you to brighten around your heart center. So this part of your body is really bright, light, open. And the more you push the shoulders away, the easier it is to hang out here. Again, I want you to fire up in your quads, use your quads to support yourself here, and then pull your belly button in and up. Keep breathing. And then on your next exhale, press it back, down dog. So in down dog, I want you to imagine that you are brightening the back of your heart. Press your scapula away from each other, press the heels down. And you're using your quads to support your legs. And this also takes pressure off of the wrists. And then one more time, come on forward, plank. Heart is bright, press your shoulders away from each other, maybe gaze forward. Belly button is in and up. So we're not sagging down here, and we're not sticking our butts up in the air. We're actually trying to be a high plank. And just to demo, Chaturanga Dandasana is low plank. High plank, low plank. Take one more breath in here. And then on your exhale, press it back, down dog. All right, release your knees to the floor. Bring the knees wide, cross the big toes. And sit back towards your heels. If they don't reach, grab a blanket. Oh, look, I happen to have one here. How convenient. I might roll up a blanket and tuck it behind my knees so that I can sit back and then walk my hands forward. So this is if your rear end is way up into the air, right? So just see if you can press it back. And you can push a little bit with your hands here. Okay, because we're just trying to stretch out the hips. If you don't need this, sorry, my voice is a little rough lately. And I want you to walk your hands to the right. Maybe the left hand comes on top of that right wrist. Drop your head down. As you do this, you're pressing down in the hips. Okay. And then walk your hands back to center. And then to the left, right hand on top of the left wrist. Good, and then just coming straight into child's pose. And it looks like I'm on low battery. I'm gonna you stay there. I'm gonna plug in. Excuse me. There we go. Okay, cool. So here we are in child's pose. From here, I'm going to come forward onto hands and knees. Okay. So from here, I'm going to lift my tailbone and lift my heart, pressing the shoulders down. Again, brightening around my heart center, front of the heart. And then exhale, rounding in the back. Gaze up at your own belly button and brightening around the back of your heart. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, open the back of the heart. Inhale to lift. And exhale to round. 2 more times. Inhale to lift. Exhale to round it out. Inhale, lift. And exhale, round it out. All right, curl your toes under and press it back, down dog. from down dog, simply gaze forward between your hands, step your right foot forward between your hands and set your left knee down. Okay. Come to the top of the left foot and just interlace your hands and place them just above your knee on the quad. Drop your shoulders down, lift your heart. And then I do want you to start to settle in. So deepen in this stretch as you drop your shoulders down and lift your heart a little bit more. This is sort of a modified Anjaneyasana, but what I want you to be careful of is if you feel any pinching in your low back, press into that thigh, drop your shoulders down and press back a little bit. Okay, you don't have to go super deep here. If you can, now you're just gonna start to brighten your heart. And even if you're here, you can still brighten your heart. I just don't want you to feel any pinching in your low back. That's super no bueno. That means not good. Good. On your next inhale, if it's comfortable to you, reach the arms high and overhead. And then exhale, palms heart center, bring them all the way down and rotate to your right. So if you can, hook this left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Otherwise, just turn to the right, okay? I'm gonna do the little hook. And then as I do this, I'm gonna press my palms heart center and twist. So I'm now looking behind me. Good, and then inhale, bring it back up, sink deep into your hips. And then exhale the hands back down, step it back, downward facing dog. You know it's a good practice when you move and you sound like a campfire. Okay, so for the purposes of this, I'm gonna turn myself around. Gaze forward between the hands, step your left foot between your hands, set your right knee down and come to the top of your right foot. Interlace your hands the awkward way this time and place them just above the knee. Drop the shoulders down, lift your heart. Maybe gaze up or not. And then start to settle in deeply. Again, if you feel that pinching in your low back, back off. You don't have to go super deep. I'm just trying to open up that whole front channel of the body that leads directly up to our hearts. It's kind of like when you have an itch on your toe, but it satisfies that itch that you actually feel in your left elbow. When you have to itch someplace else to satisfy a different itch or scratch, it's scratch. I'm getting all my verbs wrong. Anyway, you scratch someplace to satisfy an itch elsewhere. It's kind of like that in yoga. You stretch one part of the body and it has an effect, a residual effect in another part of the body. Great, inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale, palms heart center. Maybe you find the hook, maybe you just rotate. Maybe it's just a chest rotation, no big deal. You might hook that elbow to the outside and then press down. See if you can get your palms to come heart center and twist. And then reach that high again. And then bring your hands back down and step it back. Downward facing dog. So come down to your knees for just a second. I just realized that my mat is a little bit rolled up on the end here, but I did want to show you, you can actually purposely roll up the end of your mat, especially if you have very tight calves, which, you know, some people do. And then press your heels down into the folded up part of your mat until eventually you don't need to do that anymore and the heels will touch down. Mine don't really touch completely down. I'm completely fine with that. So come into your down dog, either rolling up the edge of your mat or not. And once again, you're gonna press the shoulders away from each other. And just like when we were doing our cat-cow, I want you to open up the back of the heart. Good, come on forward. Open the front of the heart in your plank. And you've got two options. You can either drop knees, chin, chest, okay, or you can come forward under your tippy toes, bend the elbows 90 degrees, chaturanga, and then from here, we come into either cobra, where the thighs touch the ground, or up dog. And then press it back, downward facing dog. I want you to reach your right leg high to the sky, and then bend in that knee. I'm going to switch sides. Bend in that knee, and you're going to open the hips wide. See if you can get your heart to peek out underneath your right arm. High. And then bring that right knee forward. Slide it down the back of your right arm. Walk your left toes out behind you. So here's a little trick. Come up onto your spider fingers as if you had a tennis ball underneath each palm. And then I want you to gaze back at that left foot. Keep it flexed for a minute. And make sure that your heel is coming out directly from your glute. And then flip that foot over. And then bring your left hand to your right foot, right hand, right knee, and settle in through the hips. Drop your shoulders down and back, brighten your heart. So keep taking the same shape. If you feel a pinching in your low back, don't do it. Just pitch forward slightly until eventually you can start to lift up. We're opening up that left channel all the way up to the heart, and breathe. Okay. And then slowly start to walk your hands forward. Today I'd like you to reach this right arm forward and then weave your left arm underneath your right. And I want you to think about extending through the right side of your body and opening up the back of the heart. Maybe you gaze out underneath that right arm, keeping up on spider fingers on the right hand. If you're dying for a little bit more, go back to the front of the heart opening, reach your right arm around behind you and grasp your right foot. That feels really good on the hip, but it does tend to be a bit more intense. So if you're not looking for that intensity today, don't do it. Remember, you got to listen to your own body, especially if you're like, oh, I'm so tight, I can't do this, it's super hard. Do it so that you love it and that you'll come back to your practice. And then come on back around. If you try to go 100% on your first try, you're probably never going to return. Flex that left foot and then press down into the floor and simply step it back. Plank. Inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And then exhale it back, down dog. I'm going to flip myself around. And then reach your left leg high to the sky and open up by bending that left knee. High. Gaze out underneath your left underarm. And then bring that knee forward. Slide that knee down the back of the left arm. Walk your right toes out behind you and keep your foot flexed. Coming up onto your spider fingers. Gaze back at that right heel and make sure it's coming out directly from your right glute. So it's not coming in. It usually wants to come in. See if you can even everything up and then flip that foot over. Bring your left hand to your left knee, right hand, left foot. Drop your shoulders down, brighten your heart. If that's too much, pitch forward slightly. Okay, don't want pinching in the low back. That's super no bueno, which means it's no good. So lift your heart a little bit more, settle down in the hips a little more. And if you're floating up, I should have said this earlier, sorry. You're gonna tuck a blanket underneath your hip. You can always use this option. And then from here, I want you to start to walk your hands out in front of you. Left arm is going to reach long. Right arm is going to weave underneath the left. And then gaze out underneath your left underarm. If you are feeling extra spunky and you want more, bring this left hand around and maybe focus on reopening the front of the heart and grasp your left foot. This intensifies that stretch in this outer gluteal muscle. We often call it the hips, but actually it's your glutes. It's the 3 gluteal muscles. But they need a lot of stretching because most of us are pretty big, tight asses. Walk your hands forward. Flex that right foot, lift your knee, and step it back, high plank. Inhale here, and then exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or baby cobra. And then exhale it back, down dog. Okay. Reach that right leg high to the sky, and then exhale, step that foot between your hands. Set your left knee down, come to the top of your left foot. Inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale, palms heart center, rotate your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Gaze back behind you or just off to the side. See if you can press your palms towards your heart center. Little spinal twist, brighten your heart. Inhale, reach the arms high, sink deep in the hips. And then exhale your hands back down, step it back, high plank. Inhale. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, lift your heart. And exhale, press it back down dog. Inhale, your left leg high. Exhale, step that foot between your hands, set your right knee down. Inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale, palms heart center, rotate your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Twisting to the left, brighten your heart center. And then inhale, reach the arms high. And exhale it back down, step it back, high plank. Inhale. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale it back, down dog. Breathe here. And maybe even take a nice deep inhale through the nose. And then an open mouth exhale, send it back through the knees. Do that 2 more times. Take a deep inhale here. And then exhale, send it back through the knees. Do that 1 more time. Deep inhale through the nose. And exhale, send it back. Good. Gaze forward between the hands. Bend the knees, lift the heels. And on your exhale, just step your feet forward. Good. Inhale, lift your heart halfway. And then exhale, fold it in. So I want you to bend your knees as much as you need to. This is also a nice place if you have a little blanket, you can just wrap it around your feet and press your hands into your blanket and then fold it in and see if you can drop your head towards your blanket. I'm not using a lot of props today because I assume that you don't have any or you don't have many. And I'm not a huge fan of using tons and tons of props. I like for us to use our own bodies. So eventually in this shape, the heel of the palm is going to line up with the heel of the foot. And then your belly is going to press into your thighs and your head is going to drop down between the shins. That's a someday move, maybe someday never, it doesn't matter. Breathe. And then bringing the hands to the shins or the floor. Inhale, lift your heart. And then exhale, fold it back in, back of the heart opens. And one more time, inhale, lift the heart. And then exhale, fold it in. Good. Inhale, walk your hands forward. Exhale, just step it right into down dog. Real simple. Good. On your next inhale, you're going to reach that right leg high. Exhale, step it between your hands. Keep your knee up this time. You can always set it down. If that's too much, just set your knee down. But what I want you to imagine is that you're trying to press the right heel forward and that left ball of the foot back. Inhale, reach the arms up, strong legs. Okay, so pull in and up on the belly button and then sink deep in that right knee. Maybe look up. Take an inhale. And then on your exhale, bring your palms together, heart center, open the back of your heart. Maybe that left elbow hooks around the outside of the right knee. Press your palms towards your heart center and twist to your right. Good, and then inhale, reach the arms high, slow motion movement here. So you're controlled, and then bring your hands back down. Step it back, high plank, inhale. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And then exhale it back, down dog, opening the back of the heart. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step that foot between your hands. Keep that right knee lifted if you can. And so you're pressing the left heel forward, the right ball of the foot back. Inhale, reach the arms high. So again, I want you to pull in and up on the belly button. It's a really subtle move. You probably won't notice anything much, except I want you to strengthen in the legs more. Take an inhale, and then on your exhale, bring your palms together, heart center. Rotate this right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Press your palms towards your heart center and twist to the left. Brightening around your heart center. This is a front and back brightener. And then reach those arms high. And with control, come on back down and reach that left foot back, high plank, inhale. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale, press it back, down dog. Okay, so walk your hands halfway back on your mat, gaze forward, bend the knees, lift the heels, and then step it through. I won't ask you to do a hop through today. Okay, so you're gonna bend this left foot 90 degrees, left knee 90 degrees, and set it down. And I'm gonna work at an angle here, I think. I might move, and I might change my mind. And then I want you to do the same thing with the right foot. So it's at a 90-degree angle. The right knee is gonna be bent 90 degrees. And then you're gonna see if you can set your right heel just above the knee. Okay, don't place it on the joint. Bring it just above. This is known as fire log pose or double pigeon. And it's believed that the hips, again, scratching that itch in a different part of the body, is the seat of the heart. So sometimes when people get into hip stretches, they either start crying or they get kind of angry. It's all that stuff that just gets congested in our bodies and stuck. And then we start to open it up and stretch it out. And suddenly all these feelings arise. It's good. Okay, so I might bring my blanket underneath my right knee because I might need that for support. Here I am going to turn this way. Okay, but I'm going to show you without that support so you can actually see what I'm doing, I hope. But both of my feet are 90 degrees. My knees are 90 degrees, 90, 90. And eventually what's going to happen is this right knee is going to drop down towards this foot. Mine doesn't. Naturally, I have very tight hips, very strong legs, strong glutes, but that means that they're super, super tight. So usually you get either super flexibility where you're this wormy body, but there's no muscle tone and it's not a very strong body, but it's very flexible. Or you get the very strong body, but it's not very flexible because the muscles are shorter. So what we're working towards, again, is that strength and flexibility at the same time. And what a great heart we would have if we had a really strong heart that was also very flexible. So from here, I'm going to walk my arms out to the sides, or you can bring both of your hands to the bottoms of your feet and just press on the feet, lift your heart. So it's real easy in this shape to round here and do the old huncheroo. Oh, I got this. I'm going to get in this so deep. Don't. Just sit up. If that's you, just sit tall. Get your blanket underneath your knee. Maybe even walk your hands behind you to keep your heart right. Ideally, someday, and this might be a big someday, ideally, you're here, right? Nice, long, tall spine. And then you start to walk your hands forward. So similar to what we did at the beginning of this little class. My elbows might rest on the floor. If I'm feeling a lot of stress in this shape, my elbows might come to the floor. I might bring my palms together. And I want you to notice my spine. It's not rounding here. Here, I'll move this. You can see it, right? My spine is still very long here. And then I might rest my forehead on my thumbs. That's nice. In fact, I'm going to stay right here. This is good. Okay, so choose where you feel most comfortable. And then eventually the belly is going to rest on this right leg. Head's going to rest on the floor. I'm going to stop halfway today and just hang here. So we are working on the seat of the heart, those gluteal muscles, the hips, and just breathe. What can you release here? Where can you find some flexibility? Keep breathing. And again, I say that as much to myself as I do to you. Breathe. All right, and then come on up. Okay, bring this right foot to the outside of your left knee. I'll show you from this angle, like it is. And then I just want you to hug your right knee. That's it, just hug your right knee. And you can stay right here. Or I might start to rotate my chest again to my right, like an owl's head. So I'm not cranking on my neck. I'm actually rotating the whole torso. So I want my belly to think about peeking around this right thigh. And then I'm going to wrap my left arm, excuse me, around my right knee. And I'm going to bring my right hand behind me. So it's like I'm hugging this leg. Hi, leg. Let's give a little hug here. If this feels like nothing, you're going to bring this left elbow to the outside of your right knee. You might even bring that left hand to the inside of your left foot. I had to look because I was like, I don't know what's right or left right now. And then I'm going to drop my shoulders down, lift my heart, and twist to the right. And again, I'm not just cranking on my neck. I'm actually rotating the entire torso. And breathe. And then come on back around, and just for funsies, just to tie in a little bit from the beginning of class, I want you to grab your hands around the back of that right knee, thigh, and then maybe start to straighten out that leg. If that feels like nothing, you're like, you might slide your hands up to your heel. Again, I'm dropping my shoulders down, lifting my heart. My foot is flexed, so I'm pointing my big toe towards my nose. And I'm just going to lift up. I might lift my gaze as well. And then just set that down, lean back, and switch legs. So now my right foot is flexed 90 degrees. I'm going to bend that right knee 90 degrees. I'm going to bend my left foot 90 degrees and my left knee 90 degrees and set that ankle down just above the knee. I'm not placing it right on the joint. Never directly on the joint. And as you age, you will find that that's a really good choice. Joint pain is no fun. Okay, so I might place a blanket underneath that knee and be like, this is all I got, lady. Okay, maybe your ankle or your foot doesn't even make it to the knee. You might be somewhere in here. That's also fine. Okay, so you might be here, and you might just place your hands on your feet and start to lean forward. Again, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so eventually my knee is going to drop down to my foot. Mine does not naturally go there for reasons I have already disclosed. but I might bring my hands to my feet, drop my shoulders down, lift my heart, and I'm lengthening through the crown of my head, through my spine. I'm not rounding and hunching. It's very tempting to do, especially if you're very tight here. And then over time, I might start to walk my hands forward. I might bring my elbows to the floor. Today, it's feeling really, really yummy to put my elbows on the floor and bring my palms together. And I'm just placing my forehead on my thumbs, and it's right between the eyes. And breathe. Okay, and then come on back up and just step this left foot to the outside of the right knee this time. And I want you to make sure that both sits bones are on the ground. It's a real tendency to lift up, right, and twist. Don't. Keep that hip down. And then hug your left knee in, just like you're hugging your leg. Hi, love you, leg. But you might also be like, yeah, this is really nothing. I sit like this all the time. Well, good for you. Bring your right elbow to the outside of your left knee then, and go a little deeper. Bring your left hand behind you and bring that right hand to the inside of the right foot. Drop your shoulders down, lift your heart, and twist. So whole torso twists like an owl's head. I'm not cranking on my neck. In fact, sometimes I don't even bother to turn my head. I just turn the torso. So maybe do that. And then I try to keep that hand as close in, and I use my elbow almost like a brace for my back. Okay, 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 more things I want to do. That was specific. Come on back around. And just lean back. And just shake out those legs. Okay, so just re-straighten this. I want you to either do the same little move that we did earlier, which is where we simply fingertips point towards the glutes, lift your heart, maybe gaze down towards your toes. If you would like to advance this posture, maybe you feel a little bit warmer, a little bit more open, and maybe the front of the body, that channel on the right and the left side, are feeling a bit more open. You might lift up just the hips, okay? That doesn't really do a whole lot for me. So I like to keep my legs straight. I bring my feet together. I walk my hands behind me. And I usually get my thumbs to touch, and I honestly don't know why. It just feels really good, and it gives me a nice deep chest opener. We're just gonna stay for 3 breaths. So we lift up wherever you are. This is reverse plank, by the way. And just take 1 more breath. Good, and then set all that down. And then we're going to bend the knees, wrap your hands behind your knees, and roll yourself down onto your back. Bring your hands, palms facing down, right underneath your glutes. Straighten out the legs, flex the feet, and bring the feet to touch. I want you to press your elbows towards each other underneath your back. So it's like someone's squeezing your shoulders together behind you. And then imagine I'm standing above you by your head, and I'm pressing your shoulders down into the floor. So there's a really nice lift of the chest. And we're really going to brighten our heart, but we're also going to brighten up around our throat. So I'm going to bend the elbows, lift my head and my chest. I'm going to bring my elbows a little closer together and then set my head down, or in my case today, my ponytail. I'm going to set that down onto the floor. And breathe. Now, if you wish to lift the legs, you can. Take 1 more breath. And then set that all down and release yourself back down to the ground. And shake out your legs and shaving your toes. Okay, so you can stay right here in your final resting pose, or if you wish to add a little bit more, you might take your rolled up blanket and roll it up like a bolster and set it behind you. So you bring your blanket right up to your hips, and you're welcome to do one of two things. You can keep your legs straight and simply lie back on your rolled up blanket. And I like to bunch up the blanket underneath my neck. So I've got this nice chest opener here. And actually that feels really good. Or if you want to add in a little bit of quad stuff, you can bring your heels up towards your hips. Okay, you can do one at a time or both. I'm not into that today. Today I'm just going to keep my legs straight and focus on the chest. So that's that whole channel. But I'm going to back off on that for now and just bring my arms wide and let my heart open. And then close your eyes. And you are welcome to stay here as long as you wish. This feels really good. Awesome. Or you might roll off of your blanket and press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Okay, and that could be a little halvesy lotus. It might be a full lotus. And then just bring your hands to your knees. And again, feeling that space around the front and the back of the heart. This is a very quick, little, simple practice. Not too intensive, I hope. And then go ahead and rotate the palms face up. And I think of this as a gesture of invitation, but also of release. So it's that, again, the yin, the yang, the push, the pull. The letting go and the receiving, bringing in. And inhale, reach the arms high and overhead. Exhale, palms, heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.